It often begins like a fairy tale. You feel seen, adored, and cherished in a way you never thought possible. This person, the narcissist, showers you with intense affection, a phenomenon we call love bombing. They learn your deepest desires, your vulnerabilities, and your dreams, mirroring them back to you with breathtaking precision. You believe you have finally found your soulmate, the one person who truly understands the core of your being. This initial phase is intoxicating, a powerful whirlwind of compliments, grand gestures, and promises of a shared future. It builds a pedestal so high that the eventual fall feels like a drop from the sky, a deliberate and shocking plunge into darkness. Then, almost imperceptibly at first, the warmth begins to recede. The constant stream of loving texts slows to a trickle. The compliments that once flowed so freely are replaced by subtle, cutting remarks, disguised as jokes or constructive criticism. A beautiful evening can be instantly soured by a sudden mood swing, a flash of unexplained anger, or a cold, dismissive silence that leaves you reeling. You start to question yourself, wondering what you did wrong to cause this shift. You try harder, desperate to bring back the adoring person you first met, not realizing that this person was merely a carefully constructed illusion, a role they played to perfection. This is the beginning of devaluation. The change is disorienting because it is so inconsistent. One day they might treat you with the same overwhelming affection that characterized the beginning of the relationship, giving you a powerful dose of hope. But the next day, or even the next hour, they are cold, distant, and critical. This is not a normal relational ebb and flow. It is a calculated strategy of intermittent reinforcement. It keeps you perpetually off balance, chasing the memory of the good times. The sun has not just set on the relationship, it is being deliberately hidden behind a curtain of their choosing, leaving you in a state of perpetual twilight, unsure and anxious. This sudden chill is the first major red flag. It is the moment the mask begins to slip, revealing the cold, calculating emptiness beneath. The person who once celebrated your strengths now targets your insecurities with surgical precision. They may criticize your appearance, your friends, your career choices, or even the way you laugh. Each comment is a small paper cut to your soul, seemingly insignificant on its own, but collectively causing a deep and painful wound. You are left standing in the cold, shivering and confused, wondering how the person who promised you a lifetime of warmth could become the very source of your winter. Once the devaluation stage is in full swing, the narcissist deploys a powerful arsenal of manipulative tactics designed to confuse and control you. Chief among these is gaslighting, a sinister form of psychological abuse that makes you question your own sanity. They will deny saying things you distinctly remember them saying. They will twist your words and insist you are too sensitive or making things up. If you confront them about their cold behavior, they might respond with, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I was just tired. You're always looking for a problem." This tactic chips away at your perception of reality until you no longer trust your own memory or judgment. Alongside gaslighting comes the relentless blame game. In the world of a narcissist, they are never at fault. Every argument, every misunderstanding, and every problem is somehow your doing. If they yell at you, it is because you provoked them. If they forget an important date, it is because you didn't remind them enough. This constant shifting of responsibility is exhausting and demoralizing. You find yourself apologizing for things that were not your fault, just to keep the peace. You start to internalize the blame, believing that you are indeed the difficult, flawed, and problematic person they claim you are. This is a deliberate strategy to break down your defenses. Word salad is another confusing tactic you will encounter. You will try to have a serious conversation, seeking clarity or resolution, but the narcissist will respond with a circular, nonsensical barrage of words. They jump from topic to topic, bring up past grievances, often ones they invented, and deflect any attempt at accountability. You walk away from the conversation feeling more confused and frustrated than when you started, with nothing resolved. This is their goal. They do not want resolution. They want to win. They want to exhaust you into submission, making you feel that having a productive conversation is simply impossible. These manipulative tactics create a psychological maze with no exit. You are constantly on edge, trying to navigate their unpredictable moods and anticipate their reactions. You edit your words, second-guess your actions, and shrink yourself to avoid setting them off. The relationship is no longer a partnership. It is a minefield where you are always stepping on eggshells. The narcissist is the architect of this maze, and their objective is to keep you trapped, disoriented, and dependent on them as the only one who holds the map. But the map they hold is a lie, designed only to lead you further into confusion. Living under the constant barrage of criticism and manipulation has a devastating effect on your self-worth. The person you were before the relationship, confident, joyful, and secure, begins to fade away. You look in the mirror and barely recognize the anxious, uncertain person staring back at you. The narcissist has systematically dismantled your self-esteem, brick by brick. The things you once loved about yourself are now sources of shame. Your passions are dismissed as silly, and your accomplishments are downplayed or ignored. This slow erosion of your identity is one of the most painful aspects of narcissistic abuse. You are plunged into a state of profound emotional chaos. Your days are a roller coaster of anxiety, confusion, and deep sadness. You might feel a glimmer of hope when they show you a scrap of affection, only to be crushed when they withdraw it moments later. This emotional whiplash leaves you feeling perpetually drained and on high alert. Your nervous system is in overdrive, and you may experience physical symptoms like insomnia, fatigue, or panic attacks. You are living in a constant state of fight or flight, waiting for the next emotional blow to land. This is not a healthy relationship. It is a trauma bond. As your self-esteem plummets, you become more isolated. The narcissist often works to sever your ties with supportive friends and family, who might see the abuse for what it is. They may claim your loved ones are a bad influence, or create drama every time you plan to see them, making it easier to just stay home. This isolation serves their purpose perfectly. With no outside perspectives to validate your reality, you become more dependent on the narcissist. Their voice becomes the only one you hear, and their distorted view of you becomes the one you start to believe. This deep emotional turmoil makes it incredibly difficult to leave. You may know, on some level, that the relationship is toxic, but you are also conditioned to believe you are worthless without them. You are addicted to the intermittent highs of the relationship, still chasing the ghost of the love-bombing phase. The thought of leaving is terrifying because they have convinced you that you are incapable of surviving on your own. This feeling of helplessness is the intended outcome of their control. They have broken you down to ensure you will not have the strength to walk away. Reaching the point of utter brokenness can, paradoxically, be the beginning of your liberation. When you have nothing left to lose, you may finally find the clarity to see the situation for what it is. It is in this darkness that a small glimmer of light can appear. It might be a conversation with a trusted friend, a sentence in a book, or a moment of quiet reflection where the truth finally cuts through the fog of confusion. You begin to understand that the constant pain, anxiety, and self-doubt are not normal components of a loving relationship. They are the hallmarks of abuse. The Bible offers words of comfort in these moments of deep despair. Psalm 34 verse 18 reminds us, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." This sentiment resonates deeply with anyone who has endured the soul-crushing experience of narcissistic abuse. It speaks to the possibility of healing and redemption, even when you feel completely shattered. It is a promise that you are not alone in your pain, and that there is a strength available to you beyond what you feel you possess. Your spirit may be crushed, but it does not have to remain that way. Healing begins with reclaiming your reality. It starts with a simple, powerful acknowledgement. What I experienced was real. My pain is valid. This is the first step out of the gaslit fog. Seeking validation from a therapist, a support group, or trusted loved ones who understand narcissistic abuse is crucial. These outside voices can help you rebuild the foundations of your own perception and reaffirm that you are not crazy or too sensitive. Reconnecting with your own intuition and learning to trust yourself again is a slow but empowering process. It is the journey back to you. Ultimately, you must recognize the fundamental difference between genuine affection and a hunger for power. Love nurtures, supports, and encourages your growth. It creates a safe space for you to be your authentic self. Control, on the other hand, seeks to diminish, isolate, and dominate. It demands that you shrink to fit into the narcissist's fragile world. Understanding this distinction is the key that unlocks the door to your freedom. It allows you to finally see the truth and say with conviction, "This isn't love, it's control disguised as care."